All right, we want to bring in now the man at the very center of this last week's news cycle, Donald Trump, who joins us by phone. Mr. Trump, you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Now, I want to start with something that's breaking. In the last hour, we have a new poll of polls, an aggregation of national polls in the presidential race. And as of right now, you are leading the Republican field. Again, this is an average of a bunch of different polls. You're at 13.6%. Jeb Bush in the number 2 spot, slightly below at 13.3. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it's an honor, but it's a long, long race. And, you know, I'm being hit from every side. I'm just trying to make America great again. I didn't need to do this. I wanted to do it because I see what's going on in the country. And I've always said if you're a successful person, it's very hard to run for office because they come at you at all different sides. And even if everyone loves you, you have 40% of the people that hate you. So that's not a good thing for a business. But, you know, my business is very powerful, very strong. And, you know, I'm just wanting to do it. I just have to do it because our country is in very, very serious trouble, Tucker, and we have to do something about it. So let me be the one.
Well, Donald, you've been criticized this week pretty heavily, and not just from NBC and others, but some of your Republican counterparts, most notably, most recently, Senator Marco Rubio criticizing your comments on immigration. And then yesterday, what unfolded in San Francisco was tragic, and you were speaking out about this. What happened in San Francisco yesterday sort of underlines what you've been saying all week. An illegal immigrant allegedly has shot and killed a woman, 32 years old, at the Embarcadero down there in San Francisco, a very popular tourist attraction in San Francisco. There she is, Catherine Steinel. She was shot in broad daylight, and here's some surveillance video. The man who shot her was an illegal immigrant, allegedly. He's been deported 5 times and 7 felony convictions. He says he was just down there with an illegal handgun shooting at seals. What do you think about this?
Well, I think it's so sad. An incredible young woman shot right in front of her father. Her father was standing there watching. I saw the brother today, and, you know, you can never be the same when a thing like that happens. Never, no matter what happens, you can never be the same. And this is something that should have never taken place. He was sent out of the country many times. He was a violent person. And we have many cases like this. You know, nobody wants to talk about it. It seems like I'm sort of the whipping post because I bring it up. And I don't understand whether you're liberal, whether you're conservative, whether you're Republican, Democrat. Why wouldn't you talk about a problem? There's tremendous crime, and it's the, you know, illegal immigration is just incredible. And, you know, you talk about terrorism and the terrorists, they're going to come in from the southern border, too, because it's the easiest thing. You just walk right in. What's going on in the country is incredible. And you would think that no matter where you are in terms of party affiliation, you'd want to do something about this. But the crime is raging. It's raging, and it's violent, and people don't want to even talk about it. And if you talk about it, you're a racist.
And Mr.
I
Trump,
don't understand it.
I want to ask you, I want to get your reaction because we see a lot on the GOP side coming out, one of them being the former governor of New York, George Pataki, penning a letter trying to corral some of the other Republican candidates to speak out against you, to sort of isolate you. What's your reaction, especially on the heels of the murder out in California?
Well, I know Pataki well, and, you know, he's a sad figure. He's got 0 in the polls, and he was a terrible governor of New York. Terrible. If he would have run again, he would have failed. He wouldn't have gotten anything. So he was a failed governor. And, you know, as far as Rubio, he's very weak on immigration, and I've been saying that for a long time about him. He's weak on immigration. I respect Ted Cruz for the view that he's got. I mean, he was really out there and strong on it, and I shouldn't say this because I assume he's an opponent, but the fact is he was very brave in coming out. And, you know, when I look at somebody like Perry, who was the governor there for a long period of time, well, he could have done something a little bit, maybe a lot more in terms of protecting people because, again, the crime is rampant. And this isn't a Mexico thing. This is, you know, I have great relations with Mexico, and I love the Mexican people and the spirit of the Mexican people. These are people just pouring across the border. And, you know, it involves more than just border. It involves trade. Everything we do in this country is just off. Our trade deals are terrible. Our border protection is terrible. Our security is terrible. You look at what ISIS is doing to us. They're laughing at us. You know, do we have victories anymore in our country? And the answer is really no.
So you've been hammered over your comments, as Clayton suggested. The mayor of New York went after you, said he's going to review your contracts with the city. NBC dropped you. You've had problems with the pageants, and now NASCAR is going after you, too. You've got to be losing money because of what you said.
Well, I knew it was going to be bad because then I was told this. All my life I've been told this. If you're successful, you don't run for office. And I understood it was, I didn't know it was going to be quite this severe, but I really knew it was going to be bad. I'm very surprised at NASCAR because I have so many fans in NASCAR and I love the NASCAR people. And I'm a little surprised at NASCAR, to be honest with you. But, I have properties in the best locations. The property you're talking about in the case of NASCAR is Trump National Doral, which is probably the top resort, one of the top resorts in the world. And if they don't go, somebody else goes. So, it's not a big deal. But I will say that I was quite surprised by NASCAR because these are people that want to stop illegal immigration. They don't want to see crime. So, I heard Tucker's statement earlier this morning, and they've done a poll on this. And frankly,
Right.
I think they made a mistake, but that's okay. I promise you, we will get somebody else to replace them in the ballroom that night.
Donald, I want to get your take on a question that's been floated around. I've heard from a lot of conservatives who've said this, that they like your straight talk, but they're curious what your end game is with this presidential run. Some have said and suggested that you're doing it just for brand recognition, that you're not actually wanting to get to the White House. What do you say to the critics who say Trump just wants to embolden his own brand?
Well, it's very simple. I'm doing it for one reason, to make our country great again, to make this country great. We're not great. We owe $18 trillion. It's going up rapidly. It's very soon going to be at $21 trillion. That's a bad number. And $24 trillion is like the point of no return. We've become a big, fat version of Greece. And we have such tremendous potential. We have to do it quickly because we can't continue to go like this. But our country has such tremendous untapped potential. And, for the people that say I'm doing it for my brand, this isn't good for my brand. I think it's bad for my brand. I don't care. Maybe I'm leading in polls, but this is certainly not good. I lose customers. I lose people. I had one of the top shows on television, The Apprentice, and I decided not to do it because I wanted to do this. I mean, who gives up a top show? Plus, I give up hundreds of millions of dollars with deals where I'm doing this. And then you hear about a NASCAR, and you hear about an NBC, and you hear about, different people that drop Trump because Trump wants safety in the United States. I mean, if you think of it, what am I doing? I say, let's make our country safe. And people are offended. It's incredible to me.
And Mr. Trump, you talk about a lot of these losses and people speaking out against you, but we did have earlier in the show Jamil Shah, whose son was murdered by an illegal immigrant, and says that you're absolutely right. I want you to take a listen to this and then get your reaction.
Everyone is illegal alien lovers right now, That's what Donald Trump was talking about, and they called him a liar. But I'm here to prove it. There's thousands of people who've been murdered by illegal aliens and raped and child molesters and drunk drivers. So Donald Trump was right on. I mean, in our community, what we call the death community, Donald Trump is like speaking for us, speaking for our dead.
So I know, Mr. Trump, you say you're taking a loss, but if you listen to that, you certainly may be gaining supporters as well.
I watched him before. He's a fantastic person and a fantastic man, and what a tragedy. But a lot of people feel this way. I don't understand how you can feel differently. It's about safety. All we're talking about is about safety. And how can people fight that? Why are people bad? Because they want to stop illegal immigration. And some of the people coming in, not all, but some of the people coming in are very violent people. And I don't understand how people fight it, but they do, and you become unpopular. At the same time, on another side of the ledger, you become very popular, I guess. But we have to make our country great again.
Donald Trump joining us live.
And answering his critics this morning, Donald.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Thanks, Donald.
Thank you very much. Thank you.